What does it really cost to live in Hebron, Connecticut? Now, this is not a sales pitch today. We are just going to look at the cold hard facts of what it costs to live here in Hebron. We're going to look at taxes, utilities, commuting, maintenance. So if you are moving from Glastonbury or Manchester or somewhere out of state, you are going to want to see how these costs compare. My name is Jason Boyce. I'm a local real estate agent here in Central and Eastern Connecticut, and I have passions for fitness, real estate, and family life with my wife Jasmine and our dog Holly. On this channel, we're going to cover everything you need to know about upsizing or downsizing in the state of Connecticut. Thank you for tuning in. So before we start, quick context. Who is Hebron really for? So just want to lay out for the audience. Hebron is a rural, semi-rural town. Population is just under 10,000 residents. It is mostly single-family houses. Almost all of the zoning in town is residential with a couple small sections of commercial, which is the downtown area where you have the intersections of Route 66 and 85. Outside of that, the town is almost all residential. There is minimal public infrastructure. Again, same location, that intersection 6685. You have some public utilities, public sewer, and public water. And then the area around Amston Lake also has public sewer, public water. Outside of that, you are basically guaranteed to be well and septic. The downtown area is semi-walkable. You still are going to have to drive to get there, but there are sidewalks and it is kind of walkable. Outside of that, there are very few sidewalks in town, so mostly driving. So it's a very car-dependent lifestyle. Now, that lifestyle has a cost, and we're going to cover that today. Now, let's talk taxes. Currently, December 2025, Hebron's mill rate is at 34.5 mils. Quick comparison to some of the surrounding towns. Hebron's at 34.5. Marlborough is at 37.52. Colchester is at 29.92. Glastonbury is at 31.92. However, that does not tell the whole story. Your taxes are made up of two things, the mill rate and the assessed value. And the assessed value can be moved up and down by the town based on what they consider the house appraised at, which is a loose term when it comes to tax purposes because that assessed value is typically adjusted in order to meet the town budget. So the mill rate only tells half the story, the assessed value tells the other half. Let's go. We're going to take a quick look at 3 different houses and 3 different price ranges in those Hebron and those surrounding towns so you can get an idea of how houses selling at a certain amount, what the taxes are going to be in the surrounding towns. Let's go. Let's start at the $350,000 range. So let's look at 82 Stonehouse Road here in Hebron. This property sold for $355,000. Now the taxes are $6,815 and the property is assessed at $184,900. Contrast that to this house in Colchester, 42 Skinner Road. This sold for $350,000 in Colchester. It's assessed at $153,000 and the taxes are $4,578 here in Colchester. Now in Glastonbury, 62 Cambridge Drive, sold for $350,000. Current taxes are $7,469. And in Marlborough, 166 South Main Street, sold for $340,000, currently assessed at $170,000, and the annual taxes are $6,438. Now that's covering the $350,000-ish, so entry-level price point. Let's look at a higher price point to see the impact that has on taxes. So at a slightly higher price point, 64 Attawanhood Hood Trail here in Hebron sold for $555,000, assessed at $238,000, and taxes of $7,913 here in Hebron. And in Colchester, we'll take a look at this one, 155 Bull Hill Road. This sold for $550,000. It was assessed for $246,000, and current taxes in Colchester are $7,366. In Glastonbury, 107 Hopewell Road sold for $550,000, currently assessed at $296,000 for taxes of $9,724. And in Marlborough, 20 Edstrom Road was assessed at $207,000, and the taxes are $7,540. This one sold for $550,000 here in Marlborough. So what you'll generally see when you're comparing properties in the area, Glastonbury is going to be the highest, Colchester is going to be the lowest, and Hebron and Marlborough are in the middle. All things being equal, Marlborough is just a little bit higher, but they're very similar. So when it comes to taxes, I hope that gives you a little bit of an idea as to where properties are going to fall in this area. Now let's talk utilities. Now remember, Hebron is a rural area, it's not suburban, so your cost structure is going to be different. When it comes to heating, the most common fuel source you'll find here in Hebron is oil. There is a fair share of propane, and propane is becoming more and more common as it is more efficient and a little cheaper, but the one you're going to see the most is oil. Now, winter heating costs are going to vary wildly. In a smaller, ultra-efficient home here in Hebron, it might only cost $2,000 a year to heat it. If you're using a wood stove or other sources, maybe even less than that. In a higher-end, larger, 3,500 square foot colonial, especially an older one, it could cost you $5,000 or $6,000. So it's going to vary wildly. And so the point I'm trying to make is efficiency is often more important than square footage. How well is the home insulated? How well is it built? How thick are the walls? What are the R values? How many windows do you have? These are all factors that are going to vary and impact your heating costs. So I hope that helps. When it comes to electricity, Eversource is your only choice. There's no municipal electric, so you are reliant on Eversource. Power outages do happen. How quickly it gets restored is going to determine how close to the main roads you are. So sometimes it can take a little while. And because of that, especially as you get more rural, generators are very common. We are seeing more and more people putting in whole house generators, or at least having a diesel fired generator. And with exception of only a small few pockets in Hebron, almost everything is going to be well and septic. So you're not going to have a water bill or a sewer bill, but you will have the maintenance costs. And again, can vary wildly depending on what it is. If you're replacing a pressure tank, you might only be looking at $1,500 to $2,400. Same thing for a well pump. If you're drilling a whole new well, you could be looking at $10,000 to $12,000. Same thing with a septic. If you're just replacing a pipe or something, a couple $1,000. If you're replacing a septic tank, $6,000 to $8,000. If you're replacing an entire septic system, you could be looking at anywhere from $18,000 to $35,000. And that's going to vary wildly based on the type of soil you have, how much land you have, how engineered the system has to be. Those costs all can vary widely. Something you're also going to want to consider if you're living in Hebron are commuting costs. They are going to be higher because there's nothing that's super, super close. Even grocery store, there is a Ted's IGA in town in Hebron. Outside of that, you're going to be going to Colchester or Glastonbury or Manchester and some of those surrounding areas. So you will be driving more, or in the day of Amazon and delivery, you might be delivering more. But if you are driving more, fuel costs do add up. So something to keep in mind. And if you are driving more in the winter, the roads can get a little rough. Also something to keep in mind. So most households in Hebron have realistically at least 2 vehicles. If they have kids, maybe they have more. So definitely something to keep in mind. Now, when it comes to home maintenance, there's something we call a rural premium. And you're going to find that in almost any rural area where you have more privacy, less traffic. You also have those things on the maintenance side. So you have longer driveways. You have septic systems that need to be pumped or updated at some point. You have well systems that need maybe water treatment or regular maintenance, longer driveways for plowing, gravel maintenance, those types of things, tree removal if trees start growing and overhanging your house. And depending on where you live, you can have older houses. Whether you're buying a house in Hebron or anywhere else, as a real estate agent, one of the things I always tell my clients is the older the house you buy, the higher your maintenance costs are going to be. Just something to keep in mind. Now, blunt truth, Hebron homes, they're affordable to buy. Maintenance costs can be a little higher than some of the tighter, smaller lots in some of the more suburban areas. But that is one of the things people know and they like is a little more privacy. And that is sometimes why people end up selecting Hebron. Now, what do the taxes go towards? One of the biggest thing is RAM, which is the school system, Regional Hebron Andover Marlborough. It is a very good school system with a very high reputation, not quite as elite as like a Glastonbury, but for the area, a very high ranked school system. According to Niche and US World Report and other ranking systems, it's usually around the top 30-ish in the state of Connecticut. So very good school system. The town also has had some capital funding projects. Recently did a whole sidewalk along 85. And the town does a good job of maintenance in the downtown areas, the roadways, that type of thing. And those are what your tax dollars are going towards. So who is Hebron a financial fit for? So Hebron's a good fit for someone who wants land and privacy. If you're financially conservative, you have a little bit more to spend, because remember, maintenance costs are going to be a little bit higher than some of the more suburban areas. If you plan to stay long term, not that you have to, a lot of people move to Hebron between the ages of 20 and 60, and they stay here long term because of the school system and the privacy and the family atmosphere to raise a family. And then some people stay longer term, some people move out to more low-cost areas or down south after they retire. Who is Hebron not a good fit for? Now, if you are stretched your budget completely thin and you don't want to have maintenance costs on a house, if you want all public utilities, Hebron's probably not going to be a good fit. If you hate driving, Hebron's probably not going to be a good fit. It is a driving community. You're going to more or less have to drive almost everywhere. And if you want super low maintenance living, again, more rural, you're generally going to have more maintenance of lawn, driveway, and those types of things. So in summary, Hebron can be an awesome town. I live here and I absolutely love it. Just want you to understand the true cost of living here and the pros, cons, and the benefits. I will link to other videos that I've done about Hebron, living here, what $500,000 gets you, and other things if you want to dig in deeper. If you want a real breakdown for your budget, what potential costs could be, feel free to reach out. I am here to help you make the best decision for you and your family. And if Hebron's not the right fit, I would rather help you avoid the wrong town than sell you the wrong house, right? So my name is Jason Boyce. I'm a local realtor. I operate in Hebron, Andover, Marlborough, Colchester, Glastonbury, Tolland. And if you're looking to buy or sell a home in those areas and any of the surrounding towns, that's where I operate, and I'm here to help you make the best decision for you and your family using data. Thanks for tuning in. If you found any value out of this video, please smash that like button, help support the channel, and send this to anyone who might find this information useful. Thanks.